Test. Okay. We're gonna try to make these sneakers today. I haven't used Blender in about 10 days. We just came back from a trip, so it's gonna be hitting the ground running. And we kind of decided to be a little adventurous and try streaming our warm up. Let's start with making the shape of the foot. Let's see. This is my default setup, and let's clean it up a little bit. Setting my grab brush to projected mode so it goes through the model. I like working on the character is facing me. I like working on the right side of the model. I don't need this. Don't need that. Let's hide the 3D cursor. Let's hide text info. Cool. A little bit cleaner. Let's save. I'm gonna make the foot. See what the geometry's looking like. We're not gonna add toes or anything. This is just to kind of be a guide. And we'll probably push it in more because naturally the shoe would like push in the foot and cause pressure, so it wouldn't be like a very straight um it wouldn't be unaffected by the shoe. So like the foot's affecting the shoe and the shoe is affecting the foot, so you'll see the foot look deformed. And so right now we'll just define roughly what the size is. The goal was to kind of do like a prop or a model once a day. Although I think that might be an overshoot, so we'll probably try to do it one model in 2 days. And then to be able to put it online for sale or to have it for free. And then kind of build up this reservoir of models that people could use. And because I feel like I haven't really done that. We spent all this time modeling and we don't have anything to show for it in some essence. So just add another UV sphere. Kind of roughly center it. I'm going to clear the transforms on it. I'm not gonna do beyond the knee, I think. just so I just have like an estimate or proportional comparison to like what things should be. So I won't go too far, just up to the knee. It feels good to be able to model again. We've been drawing a lot because we haven't had access to a computer. And that was good too. But modeling is just like what I've built my intuition on for like matching the shape of things. The goal for drawing is to do it maybe twice a day, so having 2 sketch sessions a day, one in the morning and one at night, and to set a timer for 20 minutes and to not look at reference because I get caught up looking at reference. So you just explore shapes, and if you feel like you want to draw something, you can, but there's no real pressure to like make something perfect. It's more like, how does it make me feel if I made this bigger? Or what if I drew that shape again, but this time it was at this camera angle? Turn that off. I feel like this model's a little too bright, so I'm gonna go to that cap. It's a little too shiny looking to me. This was one of my favorite ones. Just this skin. Let's go back to the foot, and I'll turn off symmetry. Have my symmetry set to the X key for X, because it's not using delete in object mode shortcuts, so you're able to use that for anything you want, and I put it to mirror my X, which I think makes a lot of logical sense. And I think it also is the same like that in ZBrush, so it just makes sense to me. I kind of feel myself noodling a little bit, where it's like not really doing something. It's hard to tell because sometimes you need to do finer and finer adjustments. So I can't tell if it's like me starting to not do it. My brain is shutting down. Okay. Uh, okay. So let's say that's an okay foot for now. We're not too concerned about the finer details. It's going to get covered up. Let's put this into a new folder, and let's call it foot ref, just so we can keep track of that. I'm not going to combine it yet because I kind of like the freedom of having it like this. I might change this, but I don't know yet. I'll leave it alone for now. Let's delete these older folders because I don't really care for the name. So, got that. Let's make a UV sphere, and we'll start sculpting again. Let's put this in a new folder. We'll call it shoe. And then start modeling it. We could do a couple of approaches for this. We could we could build a flat mesh plane as the base. We could sculpt most of it and then flatten it later. The most important thing, I guess, is to put something down so we have proportional relations. So for example, I might do this, be like, okay, that looks okay, and then I'll add the bottom part, and oh, you know what, this is now too big compared to this, so you need to like have something down otherwise. Let's see what we could do here with the top part. We'll refine it as we get closer to the surface there, but for now, we're gonna try to replicate it close as we can on the first pass, and then the second and third pass will like add more and more variations, so we're not like copying it. Okay. This is obviously too thick right now, but let's leave it for now. Let's do the other process as well. So the other idea was to make the base bottom. So we'll need to do a couple things. We need to turn on snapping, and we want to snap base on base. And this one doesn't matter yet. I think if I wanted to do like rotations based on where the joints are, I could use this stuff, but not right now. So I'm just going to turn on base projects snapping. And then I'm going to create a plane. So you can see now it's like following the surface. I'm going to also turn on it's retopology in edit mode. So edit mode, retopology, or edit mode. What am I doing? Oh, this one. Retopology. Oh, it's inverted, so that's why. So let's select all the faces with A, Shift N. Oh wait, Alt N, flip. There you go. So now it's blue like we want, see-through and blue. I want to define the bottom of the shoe here. Let's see. We're going to use loop tools later, and then we're going to flatten the thing, so it's not going to matter too much if it's flat right now. We're just concerned about the edge flow. What I'm thinking is I want to judo roll these vertices. So if you imagine this outer edge, now this will kind of follow this flow. I want to turn this off. This is kind of useful sometimes, but sometimes when you don't realize it's on, you end up merging verts that you don't want to merge, so I'm going to turn it off. What it basically does is if these two guys are really close to each other, I guess. Oh, that's interesting. It's not doing it. But they're supposed to end up going together. Oh, like that. Yeah, there you go. So now it's just one vert. But I don't want that because in some cases it'll merge when I don't want to. But sometimes you want it, so merge those with M, and now I'm doing Shift R to repeat it. So now we have this nice flow going this way. So this edge will be rounded and everything is quads. We basically repeat the same thing on the other side. So let's just duplicate and flip it. And then I'll just fix it a little bit. Like that. And then I just connect these guys. I might give them some extra faces there. Using edges and pressing F. F, and then merging the middle. And then we could do this. I'm scaling in so I don't overlap badly. Okay. And you can see it's like not flat as we want, but it's okay. Let me think here. Okay, so I'm gonna grab all of the faces and go loop tool, flatten. Now it's flat. And then if we go perspective view, flatten it more. Let's go down here. We're gonna have to re-sculpt the foot a little bit to fix this, but I'm trying to think here. Let's not get too worried about that for now. Let's go isolate mode and let's adjust this a little bit. Let's add some subdivision on it so you can kind of see what the end result will be more like. Might pull this down more. Round it off more. Kind of don't like how sharp that looks. There you go, that's pretty good. Make this side a bit more. Might curve it in more. I hope I'm curving the right way. This might be incorrect with how it's supposed to be. Let's see what that does if I make it more stubby. Let's see. I feel like it's more. I don't think it's that round there. Something like this. Let's just go with this. Okay, so say we're happy with that. Let's select all the faces. We screwed up. Let's turn off wireframe. I pressed Shift N to fix the normal direction, which is inverted. Because we extruded it and it was like inside out. I'm gonna turn off retopology for now. What the hell? Oh, you know what? It's okay. Let's undo that for a sec. It's because snapping was still on, so turn off snapping. Extrude up. And you can see the lighting is kind of weird. A, Shift N. Now it's correctly normalized. Let's make this thicker or bigger. Let's see what it looks like. So the foot is kind of too bent. I like that size, I think. And then let's add some edge loops here. That. Let's lower the top one a little bit so it's more beveled. Make it a little bit bigger. And then let's modify this foot. So now I'm imagining that the foot is inside the shoe and the fabric is pushing onto the foot. I think there's like a inset here. I'm not using my tablet, I'm just using my mouse. It just feels more intuitive to like do retopology with the mouse, and I end up not going back to the tablet. Let's let me see what top down is. Okay. Let's try to stay true to world space flatness. So try to correct it a little bit. Like that. And then this foot will adjust again. I might use these tools to like adjust it more. We'll ignore like all the meat down here, because we might not have enough geometry to really define all the contours, and a lot of it gets squished away anyways when you put your foot in there. So I'm not going to get too caught up with that. You can almost imagine this being a sock as well. So I think this is like that bone in the middle of your foot on the outside. You mention that as a landmark. Let's see. Let's bring this up more. Maybe forward more. Yeah, it feels better. Let's save. Um, this is obviously too thick now. Let's squash the crap out of it. I might leave things exaggerated and big though, but this is obviously like too much. So for now, I'll just squish it away. Squish this down. We could always delete this too. We didn't spend too much time on it, so not too concerned about losing it. This piece. Okay. So it's a little bit better. It's obviously not where we want it yet, but it feels better. Let's do another big piece, another hero piece. Let's create a UV sphere. Let's make the tongue on the front. I think that'll help us define different elements like the silhouette of the front, and I'm gonna switch to my tablet pen. It's getting a little bit tiring clicking. Turn on X-ray. Let's flatten it from the front. I like how rounded this feels. So working from the UV sphere here really was a good choice. In the reference, it's much flatter up here. Might even flatten from the back there. Something like that. I feel like it's too wide, maybe. Maybe curve it a little bit more. Sort of have a bit more of a curve. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it feels good, and it was fast. It was like maybe 2 minutes. Let's add a couple things. We could do straps. We could do the main body. The reference doesn't show us the back, so we'll have to look at another shoe and then roughly estimate what's happening. If I was more precise about this, I probably should have gotten that specific type of shoe and gotten references of it in like front back side, but I didn't. Part of me wants to kind of wing it a little bit to let things be discovered as I go. But this is kind of the trade-off of that approach where there's uncertainty. Let's see. Let's try making the front piece. So we could do a couple different things. We could sculpt it, stretch squash it as one piece, like a piece of putty being pressed on, or we could work with the top half of this sphere and work with this curvature. I think that makes more sense actually. Yeah. So the way the surface is going into this piece, it just lends itself for that, so I think that makes more sense. Let's clear transforms. And then we'll try to smartly blend away the transition. Okay. I might hide the foot and then kind of freestyle the shape a bit. Basically taking off the guardrails by hiding the foot. We might find some good shapes, but the problem is we also might go too far little by little and get lost. Let's leave the foot for now, but I'll consider doing it later. Be doing like broader tweaks later. And we'll just tuck this away. So mask off the top and then just tuck this away. Nothing to see. I do like that transition. The thickness here, I'm not, and the shape of it, I'm not really in love with right now. And also maybe the height of it, I'm not sure yet. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think if we get enough of this going, like this coverage, I might hide the foot. Let's see. Yeah, we just don't have the reference for the back. Let's see if I have anything. We do have a different shoe. Hmm. And even that one's like a 3/4, so it's not really telling us what's happening. Let's try it. Let's use the second reference and we'll just keep going here. So again, we'll kind of do a similar approach where we use about half the sphere. Let's try connecting it right there. I might not go that far on this side. Okay. It's kind of boxy. So far, I think what makes this interesting is we have like a very rounded surface and then a hard edge right here. So that like change in shape makes it interesting. Um, Look at my reference. Damn it. I was hoping to see the inner, but reference. I only have 3 images, and one of them is a completely different shoe. I could freestyle it. Just like we'll just kind of we'll just kind of let things be whatever they feel like they should be. Using the smooth brush right now. Damn, I wish I had a reference that showed more at the back. I don't have any reference to that. I'll just like I'll just say like maybe like this. I'm using slide relax right now to like do a smooth effect on it. Mask the bone. I'm actually gonna cut this short over here and add another piece over there, and then let the transition happen over there with the other piece. Let's make this a little weaker. I'm looking at the silhouette of the piece here. Um, I use I was trying to use draw sharp to pull that out. Let's say that's okay for now. Let's save. Kind of want to have more soul showing, so I brought that in. Okay. Let's add a transition piece for these sides. So kind of squash the crap out of it here. A lot of like details happening on the surface, so maybe some of this stuff will get covered up, which is okay. I'm kind of keeping in mind this thickness here, trying to stay consistent across the surface there. I might change the music here. A bunch of drum and bass music. Kind of want to switch it up now. I think these are Adidas shoes. I'm not sure though. Probably squish this side in. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. I'm okay with that. Let's do the other side. Wait. Oh, my reference is flipped, so this is the outer. Yeah, that's fine. I noticed this back gets thicker. Kind of afraid to adjust it now. Ah, let's do, why not? So I think what's happening is This back part comes up more. And this inside comes up more. Generally more interesting to look at that way. And this, it gets rounded off more. Let's see from the front here. Just tapered a little. This doesn't work for me. Try adding a piece right here too. Maybe like this. All transforms it. Switch back to tablet. One of the references has like these little bolts on the inner part that I want to try to do. But I'll do that a little bit later once things are more proportional. Let me try to pull this one back more. Let me try hiding the foot actually. Let's see. Upper leg. Foot. I'm gonna hide the foot. I think like something needs to change. This needs to get thinner. Maybe pull this up more. Pull this back more. I'm gonna ignore these for now. I think this part is too high. I think I want everything wider. Let's look at the modifier tab. These all have subdivisions on them, so I can actually combine them all because they all have the exact same subdivision on them, which is awesome. So I just combine these. And then I could let's try a local. I'm not sure if this is right, but I made it thicker. Let's do undo. Does that feel better? I think so, yeah. Let me try sculpting it. As one piece. I think this stuff gets more flushed with this. And this comes forward more like this. This thicker. Can make this come back more. Let's take off the bottom part. I'm gonna hide the facets for now. I'm gonna try matching it to the sole more. Make it a little bit more pointy. Um, this back's really flush, so I'm gonna actually flatten this area. Yeah. And then this comes out more. Yeah. Um, let's use the elastic brush here and help us add a bit more flair. The shoe. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything we could do here. I might make it thinner. I'm gonna separate loose parts. And then start to kind of modify these parts here. Okay. Okay with the shape so far. So let's go back to the other reference. Let's add that major shape here. Could have been faster and easier to do this with a plane, but I kind of wanted to see where this would go, so we did it with a sphere. I think this top piece is kind of getting in the way, so I'm gonna hide this as well. Now we could just work on the, yeah, there we go. We won't worry about the whole chest yet. Let's kind of squash this way. At some point we're gonna come across a issue of good enough and a threshold of perfection. And we're gonna have to say like, okay, well, do we want to spend another day on this? Or do we just cut it and let it be what it is? And that's gonna be a difficult um, moment. So far, I think this approach allowed it to be more bubbly, which is kind of fun. It might be a little bit longer than I had hoped it to be, though. So it's gonna pull it in a bit. Let's see if that could work. Something like that. Let's back out a little. Okay. Might round this one off more. So might make this go down and in more. That's kind of a cool shape. Since this is like one of the first models we're gonna load, we'll make it free. And we'll see how it does on Gumroad. We'll probably get it done by tomorrow, but I don't know what will happen tomorrow. I think we'll have stuff to do, but we'll see. Okay, okay. Let's make another shape here. There's something just really, it's like really satisfying about working with spheres. It's like working with clay. It's like really, it's like kneading. You kind of see it slowly turn into what you want versus like painstakingly drawing like vertices. Let's try to stretch this one to where I think a seam line is, and then we'll make a seam there. Connect this one over here. Kind of stretch it with the snake hook. Kind of gets pushed in. It's got more of an interesting silhouette now. I think I went too far. Let's see if we could bring it back with the draw sharp here. Ooh, the flow's not matching. Okay. Let's not worry about that then. Let's just we'll add another geometry piece there later. We'll just do this for the main primary shape and then we'll go back later. And then for the smaller pieces, that's like intermediate, so I might not touch it yet. Let's do the other side here with another piece. Transforms. I might do a second piece on top of this one, but for now, let's let this be the main shape there. This gets tucked in over here. This angle makes me want to switch material types so I could see what's happening better, but I'm not too concerned about it yet, so I'm not going to do it. We could do something a little bit different for the other shoe as well later, but for now, we'll just leave that alone. I want to squash this down more. Kind of getting like Sonic vibes, which is kind of non-intentional, but their strap working. It's kind of tucked away underneath here. This. Okay. It's looking a little better. Let's see. We could mesh this together. We could do a seam line here. It's not clear what's happening on the back here. We could make a secondary level detail on these. Hmm. If we merge these together, these would go away, these seams, but might be harder to control. Let's add I think overlapping details would be interesting to have. Let's add another thing back here. Let's make sure to save as well. And then we'll have another seam line back here where these connect, so. Oh, I've been streaming for about an hour. So we hit our goal. for the day. I'll just do these two big shapes and I'll call it a day. For this model, and then we'll work on it more tomorrow. Yeah, it's really giving me Sonic vibes, which is weird. Not intentional. Oh well. I think, yeah, we have to set a hard limit on these because you could just spend all day on them. This will be my last piece for today, and then we'll try again tomorrow. Maybe what we could do is we'll sculpt for an hour on this, and then we'll switch projects and do something else. So that way this stuff keeps going, but it doesn't take over our whole day. But I have to hit the go button on these because I always get stuck like working on it and trying to perfect it, and I never actually finish it because it's never good enough. So this will be we'll make it for free on Gumroad later. And this is kind of like it's like a pseudo tutorial, I guess, showing like how it's built from scratch. But we're not really going in depth of like the exact process. The workflow is here though, but it's just like kind of like freestyling, freeballing. I don't know. There you go. It's not bad. Starting from a sphere. It's a little. It's kind of like bulgy, or I don't know what the word. It's like, but I'm getting Sonic Shoe vibes right now. We'll figure it out. We'll keep nudging it.